David.
Dave, how are you today? It's a special edition.
It is a special edition. It's kind of exciting. Normally we're every 2 weeks, but a Gen X emergency came up and we just had to go and do something new. It, in fact, revolves around something that we all know from way back when, and unfortunately a little too far back, which is the video store.
Yeah. No, this is a great story that we came across, that you came across first, that, I think we both agreed that when we see something where a Gen Xer named Dave or David is doing something heroic and spectacular, it's our obligation, a sacred obligation perhaps even, to celebrate it and call it out and hope that it can be held up as an example for not just all the Gen X Daves, but people named Bill and Jennifer and, any other names. I think there are other names that wants to follow in this man's footsteps.
We're getting a little extra vanilla here with these names.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, indeed. And can't wait to talk to David Kraning out of Idaho. His story really touched us. So let's see if we can add him in here. All right. So we have joining us David Kraning from Pocatello, Idaho, whose story we read and touched us very much. We read that your dad had opened a video store, among other things, in the late 80s that you have since taken over. And there was a set of regular customers that you had beginning in the late 90s, a mother named Tony and her daughter, Christine. And I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about them and what made them unique.
Yeah, I worked in the video store back then, just as a, kind of a high school job. And yeah, they were going to a competitor at the time who had closed up at the time. And Christina, she does have Down syndrome, and for her mother to maintain that routine for her, found us and started bringing her in, was able to maintain that routine of, just getting these movies she likes multiple times a week to just kind of keep those things going for her.
And so the routine was an important part of it. It wasn't just having the movies available.
Right. It was, going to the video store and getting those movies, because Tony owns those movies as well in a personal collection. But, part of the daughter's routine is going to the video store and getting those movies.
No way. That's so interesting. So explain a little bit of the routine. Like, it's not the mom going up and checking out. Like, Christina does this, right?
Yeah. So when she first came in, she kind of had to get a little bit of a feel for the store and kind of directed. Her mom knew which movies she goes for. She likes the select Disney ones. Top two are Hercules and Mulan.
Good choices.
And kind of had to teach her where those were at. And then now she just comes in, knows where they're at, goes right to them, and usually alternates between those two. Occasionally she'll mix it up with like Pinocchio. But yeah, go and get it herself and bring it up to the counter. And her mom's got a envelope with the phone number on it that she, us or the staff or whoever's checking her out waits for her to read the phone number off. And sometimes she's sometimes staring at it and has to think about the numbers. But do that just to kind of keep her memory and verbal skills. That's how we look up customers' accounts, is just with the phone number. But yeah, we'll wait for her to read the phone number off and bring up the account that way. And then Tony's usually got some money in the envelope as well, and hands it. Our rentals are $5, and hands $1 to Christine, and she counts out the money, one and two, and then we hand the change back. But we do that so, she's kind of interacts and feels like she's part of the transaction, and it's just not, we're going to deal with your mom. We make her feel that she's involved in, and she's the one, you know, doing all of this. Because we're the ones, we're talking with her, interacting with her, and getting her to engage
The
with
staff
us.
must have to be, patient and kind of understand the routine so they don't throw her off.
Absolutely. Everyone's, they're, that's one thing I gotta say is, I have a really patient and kind-hearted staff, very loving, and they're always glad to see her. A lot of the female staffers will go around the counter and give her a hug and whatnot, and yeah, so she feels very welcome.
Yeah, that's really nice, and the kind of thing that can only happen in a certain kind of place. But the video rental business is obviously not what it used to be, sadly. And we heard you were getting to a point of having to close, and that Christine's mom Tony had heard that this was coming and had some concerns.
Yes, we'd been managing to kind of put it off. Every year the costs were going up, revenue was going down, and then COVID just really kind of knocked the stuffing out of us. A lot of people, I think, discovered streaming then. I had to have the high speed internet and figured out how all of that worked, and a lot of them was like, well, it's a pain to drive across town, go get a movie, and then drive back across town to return it. So yeah, we lost a lot of people there. But I was aware of Christine's issues, and I knew I had to do something. So the next time they came in, I pulled Tony aside and let her know what was going on, and how she thought her daughter would handle it, and she was kind of devastated and quite worried that this had become such a part of her routine for decades that not having the video store just kind of we were the last one, so there was nothing to fall back on. So that's where I came up with brainstorming for a solution, which created Christine's Corner in our convenience store.
Yeah, so talk about that a little bit. And it appears clear that COVID didn't stop Christine and Tony from coming.
Yeah, they were coming in, and I thought, well, hey, I've got shelving, I've got the movies, I've got this kind of just cut out corner of the store. I could take the stuff and move a smaller section of it in the convenience store and just create a mini kind of corner snapshot of the video store, and make sure her favorite movies are there, and just kind of got a top 100 renting movies for the last 3 years, the hottest new releases we had at the time, just kind of created a mock-up so she still felt that video store essence, rather than just taking a few movies and putting them on a shelf. Make her feel that she still was going to the video store, with the big one closing down.
Wow, that's really cool.
It really is.
So what was the reaction when you did this? How did they both respond?
Tony, she was so thankful that I was willing to do this, putting the time and energy to make this happen, and to listen to her thoughts and her concerns and what was going on with her daughter. And I can tell Christina, even though she's nonverbal, she's still excited to come in and get her movie every other day. It's a little bit different spot, but it's continuing that routine for her. So she didn't have this big disruption in her life, and I can tell that they're both very grateful that I was willing to just do that for them. And because a lot of the these big corporations be like, well, sorry,
Yeah.
we're closing up shop, nothing we can do for you.
I mean, even if you were like the store manager of a big brand store and you wanted to do something like this, the hoops you'd have to jump through to try and get permission from somebody 20 states away to let you do it. I'd imagine this created some goodwill with like your employees and with other customers and with the community in general too. Is that right?
Yeah, we've just had a huge outpouring. I've the thing is, I didn't expect it to be this big. You know, I was just doing something nice for one of our longtime customers, but it got picked up by local newspaper, and then it got picked up by a bigger newspaper, and then a Washington Post, and I've gotten some emails that have come in, people thanking me. Got a letter today from someone from Virginia, wrote us a nice thank you note for doing that. So yeah, it's just crazy, how this is turned out to be. Like I said, I was just doing this, just something nice for one of our just probably longest customers, long-term customers we've ever had.
Yeah, people like it when people do good things, and
I think people are hungry for it right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful story.
Yeah, with the way the world is, to have see that there's still people out there who thinking of others. Yeah, it makes you feel warm inside.
Yeah,
so if we
really
come to
does.
the store, do we get a hug? Will you give us a hug, David?
Absolutely.
Be a Dave hug. Well, thank you so much. This is a wonderful story. I remember seeing a quote from the mom saying that she couldn't stop crying. She was so grateful to you. And while we didn't have quite that reaction, it really is touching and gives us a lot of faith. And I'm glad that you're keeping a little light on in the corner for not only for Christina, but also for the video lovers of the world.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And yeah, thank you. And you are a great representative of middle-aged guys named Dave everywhere. So thank you for standing up for our community and
Not a problem.
Really for joining us today.
Okay.
Thank you, David. All right. Well, that was just great. What a wonderful guy. What an example.
What a wonderful Dave.
Yes. Does that mean that all Daves are saints?
It doesn't, and they don't have to be, right? I mean, to me, like thinking about this, that's like, I think if Gen X brings anything good to the world, we bring a lot of good to the world, but the best thing maybe is seeing the world plainly and seeing the world as it is. And I think there's this boomer mentality, and I think the millennials actually share it, that to be a good person, you have to be a saint, right? Like the people who are good are really good, and anybody who doesn't match that standard is a piece of shit. And I think that ends up sending a message to people that like, well, I'm not a saint, so I shouldn't even bother, right? And I think the story of a guy like Dave is like, we don't know. I mean, we don't know anything about him other than this. I don't need to know anything about him other than
Seems
this.
Great. Seems like
he
a great guy.
seems like a really good guy. But I don't know anybody I've ever met in my life who's all good or all bad. And he did a good thing. And we should just celebrate that he did a good thing, and we don't have to make him out to be anything other than he is. He did a good thing. You could do a good thing. I could do a good thing, and that's what we ought to be celebrating, not making people into icons.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point, David. And all the same, I mean, maybe we should have just a sort of statue to the Daves. What do you think?
We could have a Dave Hall of Fame. We've talked about doing the Gen X Hall of Fame, but maybe we should make it narrower.
Outstanding. Okay, well, thanks to everyone for joining us on this last-minute high-tech excursion into the world of possible saints named Dave. And as always, we will be back soon with an all-new Stupid Gen X Tricks.
Thank you very much.
All right, and like, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely.